What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Tyson Fury said this about Anthony Joshua. He said the Gypsy King could still drink 14 pints and still win. Fans of Tyson Fury will be concerned to hear his latest bold claims about the much anticipated fight with Anthony Joshua. In recent weeks, images have surfaced showing a Fury physically miles from the prime condition he showed in the months leading up to the Deontay Wilder fights. This has led to many questions whether the Gypsy King has began struggling to motivate himself amid the complications that have arisen in the fight negotiations. Early this month, his U.S. co-promoter Bob Arum stated that the fight was all but secured. However, yesterday, Fury himself poured cold water on this, claiming that it's nowhere near from being done and dusted. The bout has been plagued with controversy due to the ongoing situation with MTK Global founder Daniel Kinahan. According to the BBC Panorama investigation, last year he was named in an Irish court case as the kingpin of a notorious Kinahan cartel. The BBC claims his father, Christy, the dapper Don Kinahan, ran one of the biggest drug cartels in Europe and was eventually convicted. Allegedly, Daniel took over as boss of the business. Although Daniel has not been formally charged with a drug-related offense, police in Ireland and around the world are hunting him down, according to the Irish Mirror. He was recently forced to flee from his hideout in Dubai. The BBC Panorama investigation alleged MTK Global, formerly MGM, was originally set up as a way of laundering the Kinahan drug cartel money and has become a huge player in the sport. Kinahan was said to be Tyson Fury's advisor and crucial in brokering the deal for the fight. According to the same investigation, Kinahan is involved heavily in the sport, but there has been calls for Irish TV channels and even BBC radio to boycott the Fury Joshua bout. Wow. Other issues. There are often a lot of stumbling blocks in the big fight negotiation, so it could just as easily be another factor. By the sounds of it, Tyson Fury himself isn't exactly expecting a conclusion soon. Okay. Now, Tyson Fury, his full quote, "I could drink 14 pints and still give AJ a hiding. I'm not training anymore. I only need 6 to 7 weeks anyway for these bums. I don't need no big great sparring partners for a bodybuilding type of guy. I just need the local Benman." Okay, those are the words of Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Now, the 14 pints, I could drink that and still win. I don't need to, all I need is 6 or 7 weeks. That tells me, okay, that Tyson Fury, either he's not really concerned with the fight because he doesn't believe this fight's going to happen, or he's not concerned with the threat of fighting Anthony Joshua by the sound of it. Okay, and the weird thing about this is he's saying this about, hey, I could drink 14 pints, and I'm assuming that's 14 pints a day because he said he was drinking 10 or 11 a day. So he could drink 14 pints, before the fight, which I wouldn't recommend, and still get it done and still beat Anthony Joshua. You know who that sounds like to me in retrospect? That sounds like Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz drunk and ate himself out of shape and farther out of any chance of beating Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury is saying, hey, I don't need anything extra to beat this bum, but yet I'm going to complain about inactivity, which is weird to me because it's like, okay, you don't need to train. You stop training, which is normal. You can't train all the time like that to get ready for a fight and there's no fight coming. I get that. But at the end of the day, don't say, well, hey, I can drink 14 pints and still be able to beat Anthony Joshua. The only thing is he's just talking shit. That's the only thing. He's bragging about, hey, how uninterested that I am with fighting Anthony Joshua. and I'm doing my own thing right now. Now, as far as the Kinahan stuff is concerned, I don't know. I don't really like to jump into stuff that I have no clue anything about. The only thing you can read in is, hey, this guy is allegedly this or allegedly that based on his father. You can't base anything off your father of what he was doing. You know what I mean? That's innocent until proven guilty to me. So it really doesn't hold really any significance, but it would be sad for someone like that to try to boycott the fight due to his association with Tyson Fury when he hasn't been convicted of anything. Regardless of what people hear and say or whatever, it ain't what any of that means is what you can prove. Counterpunch. But it does bring more complications to it. But the biggest complication itself is Tyson Fury and going through something that I'm not really even knowing or really aware of totally what's going on with Tyson Fury. I mean, because if you hear Fury saying there's some things behind the scenes, there's some things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know. Okay, well, what are you talking about? Because he didn't necessarily say the behind the scene things were something that had something to do with Joshua. He just said behind the scene things. You can only assume if you were going to reach like, okay, maybe you're talking about Wilder. And again, if they fucked over Wilder in that situation, give the man his shot. Okay, and if that's the case, that means that they have a valid reason to sue that man. If that's the case, we haven't heard one way or the other, because every time you do hear something from Wilder, it either gets debunked or somebody else comes forth with new evidence to debunk that and contradict this and that and all this. So I don't know what's really going on over there, because you can't get a straight answer over there or a truthful one. You just get a lot of desired or hoped or predicted information, but it's not valid. But then again, that's no better than fucking Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury sitting there, oh, I could drink 14 pints and still beat him, this, that, and the other. Because what happens if they do end up fighting and he gets beat? First shits he gonna bring out his ass is, oh, you know what? I wasn't active. I didn't have the right type of prep time. Okay. If that's what you're talking about, don't brag about something you say you can easily do. Why? Because that makes you look like an ass. How? How did that happen? How did Deontay Wilder end up looking like an ass? Oh, a guy you get knocked out or dropped twice that couldn't punch. See, that made him look like an ass. So I would employ Tyson Fury not to go down that same road, especially if there's any desire, really truthfully, to fight Anthony Joshua. Because now he's just talking shit within where I can understand if this was build up. This ain't even build up at this point, because we don't even know if a fight's going to take place. You know what I mean? So the thing is, at least what someone could do, at least could sign the contract if you've already agreed on the terms or the major things. Because, I mean, what fucking fight you thought that we were talking about? Just any old fight, I don't care who it is. I'm like, you should. Because you're talking this guy's name up. So if you're talking this guy's name up, you're no better than Wilder. I'm going to talk Joshua's name up, but then go fucking fight somebody else. And then blame it on, oh, it's the pandemic. You know, look, if that's the case, let it be. But Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, he said he could beat Anthony Joshua and drink 14 pints. I'm assuming that's a day. You guys tell me what you think of Tyson the Gypsy King Fury's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.